Well, hey there, how's it going? Ann Thibodeau here, owner of Horizon Coaching Solutions, and this is What's Cooking Today, the video to watch for a boost of inspiration and confidence in the kitchen. Thanks so much for watching today. You know, I love to make soup in my Instant Pot. It's just so easy and the kids love it every time. I love it. It's nice, warm, and comforting at this time of year. So today I decided we would make some Italian wedding soup with our meatballs from scratch. And that's right, you guessed it, all of this is going to come together in less than 30 minutes. So let's get started. I have my Instant Pot on saute mode here, and as you can see, it says hot. So we're ready to go. I'm gonna add a little bit of avocado oil to the bottom, a tablespoon or two. Just make sure that it coats the bottom of the pot properly. And then I'm gonna add in some veggies. So I have one large onion that I've diced. Ooh, and you can hear that sizzle. That's how you know it's nice and hot. I've got 4 stalks of celery here, just chopped up. Add that in. And I also have 3 medium carrots that I've diced small enough. I'm gonna give this a stir. And let this hang out for a couple of seconds. Not too long, because everything is gonna cook down pretty well once the pressure's on. Now, another thing I love to make in my Instant Pot is bone broth, and so throughout the weeks I'll save all of the bones of, say, the chicken we're using and stick it in the freezer, and then once my bag gets full, I just pop the bones into my Instant Pot here. I'll add the same veggies I added today, a couple of onions, carrots, and celery chopped up nice and large in there. I'll also add a little bit of apple cider vinegar to the mix. And that just releases all of the good stuff from the bones and makes your broth extra nutritious. Then I fill my pot all the way up with water and set my Instant Pot on manual, high pressure for 2 hours. You know, before I had my Instant Pot, I used to make bone broth on the stovetop and simmer my broth for something crazy like 24, 36, 48 hours if I had it. No more of that nonsense. Now that I have my Instant Pot, 2 hours, and my broth is ready to go. Then I just have to drain the bones and the veggies out of the broth, and I just stick them in mason jars. These will keep for a good couple of weeks in the fridge. So I'll give my veggies a stir here. And right away to this, I'm going to add my 6 cups of chicken broth. So just pour that right in. 4 cups there, and I've got my 2 cups here. And I'll just give that a stir and let that hang out and start boiling. Now we want this to get nice and hot because we're gonna go ahead and prep some meatballs right now, and we're going to dump them in the hot broth, and they're going to start cooking a little bit before we turn the pressure on. And let's make some meatballs. So I've got 1 pound of ground chicken in here. You can use any ground meat you'd like. Even if you want this to be vegetarian, then you would be using, of course, a vegetable broth, and you could buy vegetarian meatballs to go in here. We're going to keep these meatballs really super simple today. And so to my 1 pound of ground chicken, I'm gonna add half a cup of panko breadcrumbs. If you want these to be gluten-free, just omit the panko altogether. And the egg and the panko just kind of help keep everything stuck together, but it'll work just fine without it as well. I'm gonna crack 1 egg in here. And some spices. So I'm going to use about a teaspoon of Epicure's roasted garlic aioli mix. If you don't have this, just go ahead and use some garlic powder. So we do a teaspoon of that. And of course some salt and pepper. So important to season if you're not using store-bought meatballs, because we want these to have good flavors as well. And a little bit of pepper. And you can feel free to add any other seasoning here that you like. Get creative with these meatballs. If you have some chopped veggies in the fridge or extra spices, go ahead and throw those in there. be creative. So I'm gonna take my rings off because you know, nothing works like your hands do in the kitchen. And so the best way to get these meatballs going is just to get your hands in there. Now, with ground meat, you don't want to mix it around too much or else you'll have some tough meatballs. So just mixing as little as possible here while making sure everything is combined. So let's go ahead and form some meatballs. And so I want to keep these small enough. And, you know, don't get too crazy about how great these look. We don't want to be spending all day in the kitchen, so just do your best. Drop some little meatballs in the soup. And then, you know, dinner's almost ready. Now we want to just carefully give these a stir. And I'm going to add in 1 cup of these tiny little pasta. They're so cute. They're traditionally found in Italian wedding soup. Am I going to be able to show you here? Acini di pepe is what they're called. So I have just about 1 cup of them. Pour that right in there. Again, I want to mix very, very gently here so as to not break apart my meatballs. I'm going to turn off the saute mode by pressing cancel. I'm going to pop my lid on, make sure that the valve is sealed, and I'm going to hit manual pressure and turn this on for 9 minutes, and that's where all the magic is going to happen. So I'll see you here when the timer goes off. My timer went off for my soup just a couple of minutes ago, and so I've just hit cancel here, and now we're ready to release the pressure. So carefully with your fingers out of the way, set the valve to venting and wait for the pressure to release before opening the lid. And there we go. Let's give this a peek, see what this looks like. Oh, amazing. Now, I'll show you this in just a second. I'm going to give this a stir. Beautiful. The last thing I want to do is add about 1/2 cup of thawed chopped spinach. And so this was fresh spinach that actually I was going to waste. I wasn't going to use it, and it was in the fridge, and it was, you know, a couple of days away from going bad. And so I chopped it up and I steamed it in my microwave steamer for a couple of minutes, you know, about a minute or so. And then I packed it into an ice cube mold. And so now then I just had frozen chopped spinach on hand to use, and I just, this was about 1/2 cup's worth, and so I just popped it in the microwave to defrost. And now we've added some beautiful spinach to our soup. I'll unplug this and give you a peek. Oh, can we see there? Look how gorgeous that looks. I can add a little bit of salt. The pasta's perfectly cooked. Still got a bit of bite to it. And that chicken broth, that homemade bone broth, is just always so delicious. So dinner is ready. Check this out. How good does that look? Now, if you enjoyed this recipe and want more inspiration like this going straight to your inbox once a week, you're going to want to check out my VIP subscription over at www.horizoncoachingsolutions.com/VIP. My VIP members receive 1 weekly dinner meal plan and complete grocery list straight to their inbox every Friday morning, as well as they have access to a private Facebook group for support and accountability, and also 1 monthly group health coaching call that takes place live on Zoom once a month, where I answer any of your health related questions to help get you to your goals faster. I hope you enjoyed the recipe today. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time in the kitchen.